Medicines are good and save lives when they are timely indicated for the specific disease and the right patient. Otherwise, complications can be generated that often become more serious than the disease itself. For example, it would be easy to assume that if one aspirin eliminates a headache, 6 aspirins will do better, which is a very wrong idea, since what they would probably cause would be gastric bleeding at best. To watch the Spanish version of this video, you can find a link in the description box. Paracelsus, a 15th century Swiss physician, said that the dose was the difference between a poison and a remedy. However, current knowledge goes further, as it's now known that there are substances that even in minimal doses can be fatal in sensitive people. In short, there are drugs that under certain conditions are more dangerous to health than the disease itself, and this is the subject of this video. Throughout history, drugs have emerged whose use have been prohibited for certain patients or diseases, or have been permanently removed from the market after discovering that they have harmful effects on health. The most terrifying example of this is thalidomide, which was discovered in 1954 and began to be marketed in 1957 as an over-the-counter drug for the treatment of nausea and motion sickness in pregnant women. This drug was prescribed in more than 40 countries, but in 1961 it was completely withdrawn from the market because it caused severe malformations in up to 20% of newborns born to mothers who had taken even just one tablet. In another case, ranitidine was a drug used to treat gastritis, peptic ulcer disease, and gastroesophageal reflux disease. This drug was introduced to the market in 1981 and became the world's best-selling prescription. However, in 2019, different international health organizations discovered that it contained an impurity called N-nitrosodimethylamine, or NDMA. Studies showed that as ranitidine aged, or the length of the time since it had been manufactured, the higher the NDMA level. Currently, exposure to significant amounts of NDMA is believed to cause bleeding, kidney damage, and liver, stomach, and colon cancer. There is no precise data on the number of patients who could have developed cancer or a secondary disorder of another type due to taking ranitidine. But after the publication of the aforementioned findings, the reference medicine ended up being withdrawn for the market worldwide. Let's now talk about a high-risk drug that is still on the international market, metamizole, also known as dipyrone. This product belongs to the group of pyrazolones and is used to combat fever, inflammation, and pain. Metamizole was synthesized in Germany in 1920 and its mass production began in 1922. Throughout the world, its acquisition and purchase was free, without requiring a medical prescription until the 1970s, when it was discovered that its use implied the risk of multiple disorders such as reduced white blood cells, hemolytic anemia, hypertension, myocardial infarction, severe anaphylaxis, and acute renal failure, among others. Of all of them, the most frightening side effect is neutropenia, or granulocytosis, which consists of an abnormally low reduction of white blood cells in the blood. And even when its frequency is not high, it's a serious reaction that can cause the death of the patient. In many countries, metamizole is still one of the first options for pain management. However, its association with granulocytosis led the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, to ban its use in the United States in 1977, as did more than 30 countries, including Japan, the United Kingdom, Australia, Denmark, Saudi Arabia, and part of the member countries of the European Union. In other nations, such as Spain and Germany, it's only available with a prescription. However, in many countries in Latin America, Europe, Asia, and Africa, it continues to be freely marketed and continues to be one of the most popular analgesics where even self-medication is frequent. The incidence of neutropenia due to metamizole is difficult to estimate and has been subject of strong controversy. Figures ranging from 1 in 3,000 to 1 in a million patients treated per year have been reported, with mortality ranging from 3 to 8%. This is not an excessively high rate when compared with other drugs, but when the risk is known, analgesic and antipyretic treatment should be carefully assessed, especially when there are other safer options. Thus, in the presence of fever, it's best to use, in principle, general measures, such as not overdressing, being a dry and cool place, and even putting wet cloths on the forehead, just as our grandmothers did. Now, considering that most cases of fever, pain, and inflammation are caused by viral flu-like illnesses, one of the following natural home remedies can be taken. 1. Chamomile tea. To prepare this formula, you will need 1 tablespoon of dried chamomile flowers, 2 tablespoons of honey, the use of half a lemon, and 1 cup of water equivalent to 250 milliliters. Boil the water for 3 minutes, add the chamomile, turn off the heat, and let the preparation rest for 5 to 10 minutes. Then it goes through a strainer, put the honey, add the lemon, and that's it. The dose is 2 to 3 cups per day. 2. Calendula tea. The ingredients needed to prepare this recipe are 1 tablespoon of dried calendula petals, 1 cup of water equivalent to 250 milliliters, and 2 tablespoons of honey. Calendula is also known as marigold and buttercup. For its preparation in tea, the water is boiled, the dry petals of the plant are added, the heat is turned off, the container is covered, and the infusion is left to settle. Then it's strained, the honey is added, and that's all. It's recommended to drink a cup in the morning and another at night. 3. Thyme tea. To make this preparation, the following is required. 1 tablespoon of thyme equivalent to 10 grams, the use of half a lemon, 2 tablespoons of honey, and 1 cup of water. Its preparation consists of putting the thyme in boiling water, turning off the heat, covering the container, letting the liquid settle, straining it, pouring in the lemon juice, and sweetening with honey. 1 cup should be taken in the morning and 1 cup at night. And 4. Garlic with honey. This preparation requires 1 clove of raw garlic and 1 tablespoon of honey. To make this formula, you must crush a raw garlic clove, mix it with honey, and eat it. If desired, the remedy can be diluted in half a cup of warm water and drunk. This formula should be taken daily in the morning after breakfast. It doesn't need to be on an empty stomach, as it also retains its therapeutic properties. However, if you prefer allopathic medicines to treat fever, pain, and inflammation, you could opt for ibuprofen or naproxen, or for acetaminophen, although the latter has no anti-inflammatory effect. And that's all for now. I hope this information is useful to you. See you in the next video. Bye!